Listening on Audible helps your imagination soar. Whether you listen to stories, motivation, expert advice, any genre you love, you can be inspired to imagine new worlds, new possibilities, new ways of thinking. There's more to imagine when you listen. Listening can really lead to positive changes in your mood, your habits, and ultimately your overall well-being. I've been wanting something fun and light for the summer, so I started listening to The Stench of Honolulu by Jack Handey, who, of course, is from Saturday Night Live. We all remember Deep Thoughts. And it's true. I really feel like my imagination is bursting at the seams right now.
As an Audible member, you can choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog, including the latest bestsellers and new releases.
New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500. That's audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500. Great news. All your favorite comedy podcasts can be enjoyed ad-free on Amazon Music.
Listen to your favorite music, plus top podcasts completely ad-free on Amazon Music, included with your Prime membership.
Dive into a world of laughs by downloading the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/ad-free-comedy. That's amazon.com/ad-free-comedy to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. To me, it is always a good time of year for iced coffee, but in summer, there is no better way to start your day than with a cold, refreshing iced coffee. It just hits different.
Which is why it's a great time to try Quest Iced Coffee.
The Quest brand is known for redefining nutritional snacking, bringing you some of your favorite foods with added health benefits.
And Quest's newest product, iced coffee, is no different.
It comes in delicious mocha latte and vanilla latte flavors, and Quest iced coffee has 10 grams of protein and only 1 gram of sugar.
Absolutely delicious, absolutely energizing. I love this stuff. I'm using it every day now.
I mean, I just drank one right before this. Can you believe it? Find Quest iced coffees on amazon.com/Quest Nutrition.
Well, hello and welcome to Winter is Crappening. I'm Ronnie, and that's Ben over there. Hi, Ben.
Hi, how are you?
Good. It was an intense House of the Dragon day, but before we get to that, thanks for listening to this. If you only want House of the Dragon, subscribe to Winter is Crappening, okay? Do it anyway, because it's fun. Also, we're covering Love fun. Island right now over on our Patreon feed at patreon.com/watchwhatcrappens, so go check that out. This is also available as a video recap if you'd rather watch it. It's also on Patreon. Thanks to everybody for your support. Ben, how are you feeling about House of the Drags?
Well, I feel fine. I feel good. I am enjoying the season. Last week was a really big, exciting episode. This is more of like a transitional episode, it feels like, to the next big thing. Getting a little tired of Daemon's, and by a little tired, I mean very tired of Daemon's, like, is it a dream? Is it not a dream? I'm losing my mind in Harrenhal. I'm over that. But it's fine. What did you think, Ronnie?
Loved it. Okay, so let's go to Dragonstone. Okay, so Driftmark Corlys is just walking around. It's like a Housewives episode where it just starts with everybody going about their day. Like, Corlys is like kind of walking to his throne, wondering what he's going to wear to the tea party later. You know, he's like, I wish I could ask Rhaenys what I should wear, but she's not here. And then he cries some more. And then in Dragonstone, RaeRae is just looking out over the sea, distraught.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we go to King's Landing, and all the small folk are around. I love the small folk. They're really interested. You know, they're just having fun, and they're just doing their thing.
I do not love the small folk. I just went to Ross Dress for Less in Glendale. Okay, fuck the small folk. Hey, you know what? Let's stop putting all of the merchandise directly on the ground. I'm starting to wonder if this is a Ross Dress for Less thing that they do. Like, maybe people will buy more things if we just cover the ground in all of our merchandise. But I see the people going through there. I don't know what it is about Ross, but they will literally just take something off of the shelf and be like, nope. And just throw it down on the ground. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, well, you know,
Small folk. Am I right?
Small folk.
They just, you know what? They're just rebels.
Jesus.
They just do what they want. Actually, they don't. They actually literally are just like trapped in this castle. I keep, for some reason, I have this mental thing going on where every time I want to say King's Landing, I say West End instead, which is hilarious to think of King's Landing as the West End. It's definitely not. But anyway, Kristen and Sir Gawain, they come back. You know, they just had this big battle, and they're like, you know, it'd be really great. You know, people are gonna love a beheaded dragon. Let's just bring this dragon head through the streets.
Fucking
it's going to be a
Kristen.
great PR moment for us.
What a fucking loser this guy is. Did you guys not have the dodo in this time? Okay.
No,
and I don't have
did.
cell phones yet, but don't you have like nice animal videos where people are like, wow, look at this dove hanging out with this cow? We were just talking about it on another recap today. You know, people love animals. You can't just be like, well, guess what? It's a beheaded dragon, you fucking moron. Okay. So it's this gigantic head. And he's like, why aren't people cheering for us? Because, of course, people are like, I once saw a video of that dragon cuddling with a little chick, a baby chick. And now it's dead. Am I supposed to be happy about this? You fuck.
People don't realize that the YouTube raven of Melise crashing through the floor during the king's coronation is the #1 most viewed YouTube raven in all of Westeros. So you've basically just like destroyed a viral video star. So way to go, Kristen.
You basically killed Trisha Paytas. So congratulations. Why don't you just put Trisha Paytas's head and just parade that around the fucking town? Okay.
Yeah, you know, this is literally the equivalent of the government wanting to shut down TikTok. You know.
Yeah.
It's just not a good move.
So everyone's pissed seeing this dragon, and you hear people, you know, you hear small folk things like, wait a minute, who would behead a dragon? Hey, wait a second, I don't even want this globe of the world. Fa-pump. Hey, Dad, you just dropped the globe on the floor. That's where it deserves to be.
That's an abomination. I've lost my appetite for this water soup. Okay, so they're like, Kristen's like, don't they realize that we've won the battle? This is like a really cool thing. This is like, it was going to be like, whoa, dragon in the street, and everyone's like not cheering. Like, where is the cheering?
And Gwen's like, well, strange victory if it was one. By the way, I'm just choosing to be bitchy after the 5 days of travel it took to get back here. And after I didn't say how disgusting it was the entire way here. It's just fun to watch you flop around as the head is being dragged through the streets. Because you know that Gwen had plenty of time to be like, hey, this isn't cool. Maybe we shouldn't drag a dragon head around the streets. But he didn't. But now that he sees that it didn't work, he's like, you should have known, idiot. What a stupid move. So it's just like such a Gawain move.
Also, like, try it out on a smaller market first. Like, you had a lot of towns to go
For real,
through.
open
like,
in Chicago.
Yeah, like maybe bring the dragon head through a little village and see how it goes. See how this lands. See how it lands with the people. Like, do some focus. Like, let's do some focus group stuff before we launch this. Just do a hard launch in King's Landing, right? It's a bit of a
For sure. Like, open it in Poughkeepsie. You know what I mean? Like, is the paper mill booked? Like, try this shit out.
I know. Come on. There are a lot of places to do. Okay. How about the Zach
Branson.
Theater? Okay.
Yeah. So he's pissed, and we see everyone just mortified at this dragon head, as they should be. And I was re-mortified. And also, I watched the last half of last week's episode again before this one, just because my HBO was stuck for some reason. It was like, you still have more to watch. I think because I changed devices midstream last time. And so I watched the second half again. God, that dragon battle was so good. It was good watching it the second time. And even sadder somehow watching it the second time. And like, Rhaenys is such a badass, like that she buckled her seatbelt when she knew she was going to die. She's like, well, we're going to die. Guess I better buckle my seatbelts. Like, yeah, well, I don't want to embarrass my family by like, I don't want to get in a car crash and then everybody be like, oh my God, Rhaenys wasn't wearing her seatbelt. So I just want to give them that peace. I was wearing my seatbelt. I just loved her.
Yeah. But going forward, Dragon Riders, let's look into parachutes. Okay. So
seriously,
we could work on some of the safety devices. A seatbelt is nice, but I think a parachute is probably more useful if you have a dragon mishap.
Yeah. Could
have helped Luke out too, probably. So, so Hugh Hammer, he's one of the small folk. He's the one whose daughter has been coughing in bed,
isn't it?
I know. Let's be honest. He is such a porn star. Hugh Hammer comes through the crowd and he's looking at the dragon's head, and the boy is like next to him is like, I thought dragons were gods, and he's like, well, it's just meat now. By the way, I have a question, Ronnie. We've met Hugh Hammer before because we saw him with his wife like 2 weeks ago or whatever, where like their daughter's like like coughing in the corner, and the wife was like, I had to walk like a mile to get chicken. Okay. But then we had a scene in another
Thanks,
episode.
Obama. Just kidding.
Thanks, Obama. Inflation, am I right? But then we had a scene like not too long ago where there was a guy who went into a pub and was like, guess what? I am actually like a half brother of the king or something like that. That was not Hugh Hammer. That was a different person, right? Or was that
No,
Hugh
that was
Hammer?
a different person.
Thank you. Like, I just want a clarification because Hugh Hammer has big white hair that's long. That's very, very, of those Dragon Rider-esque. So I was like,
I didn't put any of these people together that you just linked up. I thought they were all different characters.
small folk are not monolith. Okay.
To me, they're just all people who drop clothes in the middle of a Ross aisle. Like, we see the parade passing by, and there's still rat catchers hanging from the fucking walls. I mean, it's just death and destruction. Nothing good is in town. Like, can we add a waterfall? You know what I mean? Like, there's other things, sidewalks. Like, there are things this town needs, and you guys are just not decorating well.
There's so many, a mural to celebrate someone. I don't know. They can go in so many different directions. We got to beautify this place.
For real. So Alicent and Aemond are watching from the roof, and she just looks at him, and he's smiling, and she's like, she notices that dagger in his belt. Okay, so we didn't talk about this dagger last week. You were like, I think that might be the king's. I was like, yeah, duh. Really rudely to you, which I apologize for.
I've been bristling all week since then. I was like, I can't believe that Ronnie dismissed my dagger observation.
Well, you were right too, because later I was like, that was pretty rude, Ronnie. That was pretty heartless. So sorry about that. But okay. We didn't talk about that dagger. So that dagger, we saw Alicent holding it to RaeRae earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Or last season, whenever that fight happened. And also, that dagger has been featured in Game of Thrones itself. It's a very famous dagger. Is it the dagger that was used to kill? Yes, the Valyrian steel dagger. And did it kill the White Walker guy?
Maybe. It's called the Mick, right? Mick Dagger. Hey, yo! I apologize. Thank you. This has been Winter's Crappening. We appreciate you all listening, and this concludes our service.
We officially quit. Okay, so a Valyrian, this is called a Valyrian steel dagger. Okay.
Is it one of many, or is it just the one? By the way, they also
says a Valyrian steel dagger. Though that dagger once belonged to Aegon the Conqueror. It was Aenar's before that, and before that, it's difficult to know. Before Aegon's death, the last of the Valyrian pyromancers hid his song in the steel. So the song is hidden in the steel of this, and this is according to Viserys.
Song about that's what they had to light up to see it. You know what? Well, I think we all know the history of that dagger. It belonged to Aegon the Conqueror, and before that, it belonged to Aegon the shopper. Aegon, and then before that, it was Aegon the
hot dog lover.
The hot dog lover. But then there was also Aegon the just likes to tidy up a little bit. And then there was, of course, Aegon the always shows up 5 minutes late. You know, it's a storied history.
Aegon the Late, who's not dead. He's just always late. Okay, so after the fall of the Targaryens, it was given to a cat's paw to be used in an assassination attempt on Bran Stark. This weapon would indirectly begin the War of the Five Kings, and years later also end the Great War when Arya Stark used it to kill the Night King.
Love it. By the way, we have to say also, it hasn't come out yet, but we did another guest spot on the Big Plop, and we talked all about Game of Thrones and the final season. So everyone, we keep an ear and an eye out for that podcast, and we'll alert you to that. But that was some bonus Game of Thrones content from us on that fun show.
So now there's a crate being carried through the castle. And it's like, oh my God, who is it? You know, hopefully a child, because that's where children should be kept until
in crates.
Yeah, it's in crates. And it turns out that it's Aegon's body. And it's just some beautiful shots in this show. I mean, really just this whole thing of carrying this crate through the entire castle and like under the arches. I mean, just beautifully shot. Also, did the regular Game of Thrones look as much like Elden Ring as this show? Have you noticed this show literally is just the sets from Elden Ring all
100%.
over again?
100%.
It's crazy. Like the literal sets and castles from that show are in this show.
When they later on go to the Twins, which is basically a bridge across a river, I was like, this looks exactly like Elden Ring. I mean, the truth is that Elden Ring looks more like Game of Thrones, right? But it feels like both properties have come together, and it made me actually really nostalgic to the year that we spent, Ronnie, playing Elden Ring and talking about it before every single episode that we recorded. Like, did you get to the city yet?
To an audience of non-Elden Ring players, which is pretty funny. They're like, you guys, please shut the fuck up.
Can you talk about Real Housewives of New York and not Elden Ring right now?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So then he is a mess. This kid is a goddamn mess. But I love that they left him kind of cute, because it's like so TV to do that, where they're like, he's burned beyond recognition, except for half of his face, because he's still got to be kind of hot. I mean, come on, this is HBO.
Yeah, and for all the talk about Valyrian steel, guess what? That body's not in good shape. So, you know, it's the usual. Alicent's there while the Maesters are trying to do their quote-unquote surgery, which is like they're just putting leaves on him. That's like all they do. God, learn about modern medicine already.
It's like old medics. They're just like, hey, could someone tap him on the forehead with a pebble? Okay, that didn't work. Okay, hit him on the head with a shoe. Do that. That didn't work either? No? I'm going to blow on him.
I've been soaking this maple leaf in some water. I thought maybe I put it on his chest. No, I'm an anti-maple leafist.
Yeah, I've changed his shirt. Did that help anything? Is he better now? Nope. All right, well.
I found a twig, and I was thinking of just putting it on his forehead. I like that. I think that's a good idea. Let's do that. All in favor of twig? Aye. All right. The twig shall go on the forehead.
So basically, they are surgically removing, and by surgically, I mean they're just like grabbing their hands and yanking it off, but all the Valyrian steel that's been broken and burned to his body, and it is disgusting.
There's a lot of fleshy close-ups and blood, and I was like, okay, fine. And then when they get to a shot of
a vegan turkey. Has anybody out there seen a vegan turkey?
Thankfully, no.
That's what they look like.
Has anybody out there seen a vegan turkey? I like it. I like people raising their hands in their cars so they listen. Me,
yeah, and it's disgusting.
That
looks like a vegan turkey.
I believe that. That's funny. I was like, okay, until they show like a broken bone, and I was like, I had to avert I was like, nope, I can't look at this. I don't do broken bones, and I just heard a snap, and I was like, nope, that's it. Meanwhile, Alicent's just standing there. They're like, ma'am, we're sort of doing some leaf surgery right now. Could you give us some space? She's like, absolutely. And then she's like still hovering right there. It's like, ma'am, these leaves are not going to put themselves onto his torso. Okay. Let the Maesters do their work.
I literally don't have a television. Can I just please stay here? Nothing else for me to do. So she's like, so is he going to die? And they're like, ma'am, please leave. We're trying to work. She goes, yeah, so what's the ETA? Dead or alive? What are we thinking? You guys want to take bets? They're like, ma'am, please.
So then she's like, of course. So she's like, of course, let me get out of your way. And she like takes like one step back. Ma'am, we need more than just one step. She's like, oh, my apologies. Yeah. Half step to the right. Like,
like, man, really you're doing the Macarena now, okay? Could you just get the fuck out of here?
Don't we need some levity? I mean, that's what a queen is here for. Yes, queen. There's a reason why people say that. We want levity.
So Aemond comes in, and he's, of course, so Aemond about it. He's like, well, someone needs to rule in his stead. I mean, look at him. It's burnt to a little crisp down there. All right, I win.
And then we go over to Kristen. He's polishing his sword. He's taking a lemon. And he's like not squeezing, but he's like rubbing this lemon on his sword. That's not good for your blade. Everyone knows you don't want to leave your knives. If you slice a lemon, you don't want to leave your knife with citrus on it in the sink. You got to wash that citrus off it.
But it's good to clean with. It's good to clean metal with.
What does he need to clean it with? Why does he need to clean it?
He just murdered 20,000 people, bro. He needs to clean the sword.
Fine.
We literally saw a battle last week. He's got a sword to clean. Okay.
You keep it as like brag, but like this is the blood of the people that betrayed me. You know.
No,
I don't know. This town has no food, and you're gonna waste a lemon on your sword. It's not right.
Well, lemon's not really food. It's like a food stuff. It's like a flavor.
It's gonna help the grass taste better that they have to eat.
Yeah.
What, suddenly we can't have lemonade for the small folk?
So Alicent's like, so? And he's like, so? She's like, what happened? He's like, we took a castle at the cost of 900 men who are dead now. They're dead. And she goes, okay, so? He's like, and I left a meager garrison behind to protect it, and the king's dragon Sunfire was long in the dying. She's like, okay, are you going to tell me what happened to the king? Give me the tea. I sent you out there. Do you have any tea? My brother's not talking to me either. What's the point?
And he's like, well, his grace fought valiantly. Okay, well, then what about Aemond? What was his part in this? He goes, I could not say. I'm like, okay, so after all these battles this guy's been through in his life, suddenly this is the one that traumatizes him.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess the first time you see a fucking dragon in action, you're like, okay, we're fucked.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
We get support from Dove. Hey, y'all, it's your girl, Keke Palmer, host of the Wondery podcast. Baby, this is Keke Palmer. Let me cut to the chase. Did you know that in many states across the U.S., it's still not illegal to discriminate against people based on the way their hair grows out of their head? To deny Black folks from jobs and opportunities because they have braids, locks, twists, or bantu knots? That's messed up. And today's sponsor, Dove, agrees. That's why Dove co-founded the Crown Coalition in 2019 to advocate for the passage of the Crown Act. CROWN stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. And the CROWN Act is legislation which prohibits race-based hair discrimination in workplaces and schools in the U.S. Dove is driving awareness by advocating for petition signatures and supporting the CROWN movement to create a society where Black hair is not only accepted, but respected and celebrated in all of its beauty. Join Dove in taking action to help end race-based hair discrimination by signing the CROWN Act petition at dove.com/crown. That's dove.com/crown.
The robots have gotten pretty good at what they do, but they can't pour passion into what they make or give them a human touch. On Etsy, you can find something handmade, handpicked, or designed by independent sellers who pull from their unique experiences and bring their whole hearts to their small shops. Shops that prove that when you do what you love, you can help others find things that bring more joy to their lives. Discover hand-blown glassware, reclaimed furniture, personalized jewelry, hand-picked vintage pieces, custom-designed artwork, and so much more. The fingerprints Etsy sellers leave behind reveal who they are. Human beings determined to make human connections. So the next time you're shopping for yourself or someone special, choose extraordinary items handmade, handpicked, or designed by small businesses. Keep commerce human. Discover small businesses on Etsy.
So then we cut to Dragonstone, and RaeRae is talking to the small council, and the men are like, we're men, and dragons have been killed. Men. Oh, hopefully no one with boobies has anything to say. She's like, so do we have any news on, boobies, stroking boobies, make it stop.
Yeah, this episode was the commentary on sexism episode. So Sir Alfred is like the blowhard, and he is really upset. He's like, our largest dragon has been killed, and Kristen Cole marches about the Crownlands unchallenged, and Duskendale and Rook's Rest and Markendale and Rostress for Less are all savaged. We have no ground army but the one we hope that the Daemon will raise, and he has left us after some marital spat. Stupid.
RaeRae is like, excuse me, why are you bringing my marriage into this? Do you have a problem with me? He's like, no, I think my loyalty to you is proven. You know how I say, please, boobies, don't talk, and then you talk, and then I say, why are boobies talking?
I mean, he's like, I could never doubt your capabilities and quickness of mind, even though you are just a set of boobies in a dress. But, you know, you are the gentler booby sex and have not been privy to the strategies of battle and men things.
Yeah, he's like, only men can fight battles. You don't have experience. And she's like, yeah, we've always had peace in our lifetime, so you haven't seen battles either. Okay? And he's like, a burn. Wow, all right. I will be quiet. Just as when I was a babe, I've been silenced by breast. I shall now sit. Thank you.
And now, of course, all the dusty men of the council are all weighing in, like, we must go to Rook's Rest. And like, no, we've lost already. Aegon's depleted. But if Aegon's dead, well, we will soon know. They're all like, men. And she's just getting frustrated.
Yeah, and they're like, we need to strike King's Landing because that dragon is going to take a nap and going to wake up even more pissed. And she's like, I'm going to go to King's Landing. And they're like, God, bro, you can't. How many times do we need to tell you? You can't go. You are the mayor.
So then we go over to the study, and Jace is all angry. So he's like stomping through, and Bela's hanging out. She's like, what's going on, Jace? And he's like, I'm going to go to Harrenhal. I'm going to talk with Daemon, okay? Because Rhaenys fallen, and we need to get Daemon back here. And she's like, what makes you think that he's going to listen to you? You're like 3 feet tall, and he's got rage issues.
And he's like, I don't get to do anything. My mother sends you away to scout, to fight, and what am I allowed to do? I'm just sitting here coddled. I'm a prince, and it's humiliating.
So then he comes up with this great idea. He's like, you know what I'm going to do? I suddenly got an idea right now, conveniently in this conversation. I'm going to go see the Freys. The Freys who really are never ones to do bad things. The Freys, by the way, were the ones who were behind the Red Wedding. So, you know, at the moment he says, I'm gonna make an arrangement with the Freys, I think we all are like, don't make a deal with the Freys.
No, the Freys are no good.
Don't do that. Bad news.
So he's like, well, Craig and Stark's greybeards are marching to the south, and if this man had direct route to the Riverlands, we could not have to wait for Daemon to act. I will retreat. I'm going to talk to the Freys and get an in. And she's like, RaeRae's not going to like that. And he's like, well, then don't tell her. It's like, oh, this never ends well on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, don't make a secret
Is he
deal
dead
with the
like
Freys.
next week? Or are they already going to kill him too? He's so adorable. Don't kill him. You guys are killing too many people too fast.
I know. So, okay, well, now we go to Daemon. And he is on Dragon, and he's found the Brackens. You know, the old Bracken and the Blackwood situation. So he's found some Brackens, and he's basically trying to intimidate them. He's got the dragon. He's like, so bend the knee or else I'm going to burn you alive. And the guy's like, fuck your dragon. I'm from the Riverlands. We don't care about dragons. We just care about, you know, hard work, pub songs, and being, you know, and like joy. And,
he's like, I'd rather sooner be the Lord of Bones and Cinders than bend my knee before some heathen Blackwood cut fitness and his hired dragon. I was like, wow, you're calling him a cut fitness? You really do not care. He does not care. They're like, just what are we living for? Okay,
yeah.
You've burned everything. We have nothing. We don't even have a Walmart left. Just fucking kill me already.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't had electricity in like 5 days. We don't even care anymore. So now it's like, they've been burned. Some time has passed, and Daemon's like, "Damn, I did not think."
No, he didn't burn them.
He didn't.
No, we saw the dragon's head come down, and that was a great shot, by the way. So this guy goes, "Just burn us already, you fuck!" And so he turns away from the dragon, and then the dragon, you just see behind him, the dragon lowers his head.
Yeah.
Like it's such a good shot.
That makes
so
this
good.
much more. That makes this dialogue make much more sense because he's like, "Oh, I didn't."
Yeah, so then he's sitting with Daemon. So then he's sitting with Gawain, and he's like, "I've never seen someone so eager to die." They literally did not even care. What the hell?
Yeah. So, you know, there's like, God, there's got to be another way. They're like the threat of fire and death is not going to work. There's got to be some other way. And then all of a sudden, Daemon's like, well, then perhaps you could try less fighting and more persuading. And of course, my gay brain is like, oh, he's going to seduce him.
They're going to bone.
That was like, he picked up, like there was something like the gaydar pain. He's like, you seem a little gay. He seems a little gay. I'm sensing this is all just sexual tension. So go seduce him. And I was like, yes. Okay, cool.
I'm sorry that I called him Gawain. This isn't Gawain, obviously. This is Willem. So sorry, everybody. So he's like, well, wait a minute. We can't just persuade them. I mean, we fought for an age. And he's like, well, more persuading is what we need. He's like, no. Well, I guess they are unyielding in battle, but every man has a weakness. Let
me provide you some knee pads.
So you take my meaning then. There are things the crown itself must not be seen to do. Oh, show them your worst, guzzler. Get out there.
Tell me, are there a lot of back alleys in the Brackenlands? Da-na-na-na-na.
So Willem grabs his sword and rushes away. So then we go to the Eyrie, the seat of House Arryn and the Vale of Arryn.
So Lady Jane Arryn is speaking to Rhaenyra. I mean, it's not Rhaenyra. Rhaena Targaryen. So Jane's like, over the centuries, many and more armies have broken themselves against my bloody gate. Are you listening? That was a metaphor, if you know what I'm saying. Da-na-na-na-na.
The Eyrie itself is impregnable, unless, of course, we're descended upon from the sky. And Rhaenyra's like, yeah, hi, I'm busy. Okay, because it takes like days to travel in this world. And you promised us 15,000 swords. Where are those swords? And she goes, oh, well, that was in return for protection from a dragon. Where's my dragon?
Like, well, we give you actually 2 dragons, bitch. And she's like, well, they're still wet from the egg. By the way, this lady thinks that she's special because her place is vulnerable from the sky. Guess what? Every place is vulnerable from the sky in this place, okay? So she goes, I have hunting hounds that are more fearsome. And Rhaena goes, well, they're dragons nonetheless, and I do not recall you specifying the size of the beast that you're in your request.
And she's like, will you goad me, child, when your bread and shelter now depend on my pleasure? Oh, you are so dead, lady. You are so
The Aarons are always... I mean, these Aarons. Remember in Game of Thrones? Remember the Aarons?
Wasn't the Aaron the one like banging her son or something?
Yeah, well, she had that son Robin, and they had that
She
thing
was
where
like
people
breastfeeding him when he was 13 or something.
Yeah, they're always just like a little off.
Those Aarons are crazy. That's a goop. That's a real goop family over there.
That's a real between the Aarons and the Freys. This episode has them all. Am I
right? So she wants a bigger dragon, which I mean. So if there's smaller dragons, then who rides the smaller dragons and how do you train them? You just have 2 gigantic beasts eating all the animals and nobody's like communicating with them? It doesn't sound like a good idea to just ask for dragons.
I also kind of feel like the Eyrie is kind of out of the way. Like no one really is interested in going to the Eyrie. Rhaena was literally sent there to get out of the way with the kids because it's out of harm's way. And she's
they call your town Eyrie. That's its name.
Yeah.
Like literally nobody cares. You should be grateful anybody's even here visiting you.
But then of course Jane is like, oh my God, but we need protection. Like we're like in danger. It's like, you're not in danger. You don't even have any like notable landmarks here. There are no UNESCO World Heritage sites here. No one cares about the Eyrie right now.
I know. You need to get more like historical land.
Yeah. You don't even have like any center of commerce. There's not even like an embassy here. Like no one's going to attack.
There's no Home Goods here. There's no Home Depot or a Home Goods. Like there's nothing with home in it. Here.
You can't even.
Or a home.
You can't even like sign up for global entry there. There's not even a global entry like field office.
You guys have to drive like an hour and a half to pay for global entry.
Yeah. You have to like, it's terrible.
So Rhaena is going to stay over there and have supper with them. And Jane, after just trying to hard bargain, is like, oh, yeah, sorry, your grandma's dead. But guess what? Guess who else is dead? Anybody who gets attacked by a giant dragon tonight because you guys failed us. So enjoy your nap, stupid.
Yeah. I'll go feel real safe with your baby dragons standing over our kitchen. Thanks. So now we go back over to Dragonstone. And RaeRae is talking to Mysaria because she basically has no one else to chat with. So she's like, oh, the way that they all spoke at the small council today. And Mysaria's like, oh, I know. Do they hold you responsible for Rhaenys and her dragon? She's like, oh, I wish they had. They speak around me, not to me. They would make me queen, but they wish me to keep me here confined. Am I right, girlfriend?
Mysaria's like, oh, that's because they betray their own smallness. And so she's like, so listen, I'm the sovereign, but I can't do as I please, and I guess it is war. So I guess that is men's job. And Mysaria's like, yeah, but you're your dad's successor. And she's like, well, he didn't teach me to fight. I mean, if I'd been a son, they would have given me fucking lessons, but I'm not. I'm just some girl. So I don't know anything. You know what I know? Here's what I know. It's useless information. I know every king, what they like, their favorite foods, their favorite colors, like literally everything about all the kings, the queens, their cousins. Such useless information. All right.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go call for Daemon because if I'm basically a supplicant to my own husband, what does that make me? Okay, I don't I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, Mysaria. And she's like, Christian Cole made the mistake parading a dragon's head through the streets like a prize of war. But the people see it an ill omen. Okay, you know what? Could you just stop talking like that? Just talk like a normal person, Azaria. That's all I want
Talking
right now.
like what?
Like that. You just did it right there. You like that.
No.
Just monotone
What?
these times. It's war. We can't have talking like this. Have normal patterns.
Well, the people in the street are saying that when Viserys lived, there was peace and bread.
Bread. It doesn't have to be 4 syllables, Miss Area. Just bread, not bread.
And Rhaenyra's like, well, will whispers tear down stone or break shields? And she's like, don't underestimate your subjects. There's 1,000 thousands living in here. We haven't gotten up to that number to actually make a new number for that, but there's 1,000 thousand.
You know, it's so strange. You're not singing a song, and yet I feel like there's a song trapped in my head when you talk. It's really difficult. Okay, do you think that these people would turn on me? She goes, well,
she's just a small town girl living in a lonely world.
Do more. It's oddly appealing now.
On and on and on and on.
To the discontented, the rumors are feet, your grace. What you cannot do, let others do for you. There's more than one way to fight a war.
We're joking, but I did give this scene gay snaps when the scene happened, and she's like, oh my god, I can't believe all I know is everything about everyone. How am I going to win a war? And Missouri's like, gossip, bitch. That's how we're going to gossip, bitch. And I was like, yes, Massaria, yes. Because you have the important things. The dragons aren't the important things. You guys have to trick each other and manipulate each other into doing things. Come on now.
Exactly. I like more manipulation on these shows. And I actually love RaeRae and Mysaria teaming up. Like season 1, I was like, Mysaria was just sort of annoying and just like around. But now that Mysaria and RaeRae are working together, I think it's great.
Yeah, agreed. So then we see Alinda wearing a hooded cloak being led out of Dragonstone's castle because she is going to be the little message bringer for Mysaria. Little
Alinda,
bird, if you will. Little birds.
Little birds. So now we got to
worms, birds, worms.
Poor Linda. That name. They're like, Alinda, is your name Linda or Elinda? She's like, my name's Elinda, because apparently when my mother had me, they said, what do you want to call her? She goes, Linda. It just sort of stuck.
I'm a boring Linda. Whenever someone says, hey, who's at the door? They look into their ring cam and they say, Linda.
It's better than being meh, Linda, but still don't like it.
Slightly less boring than that bitch, but still. So RaeRae and Vale are sitting together, and RaeRae is holding this like little container thing, this little metal shaped container, and Bela's like, oh my god, grandma, broken by her enemies. She's like, oh, let's say wonderful things about your grandma. I'll start. I loved her and Nurse Jackie. What about you? You go now.
By the way, did your grandmother ever tell you this about the night she claimed Melise? I've never really been able to talk about this because your sister's been around. It's a real trigger, being able to claim a dragon. Your sister, she kind of failed on that front. Anyway, we can laugh about this now, right? No?
You're not laughing. Okay. Well, anyway, to claim Melise, she basically took a big fly swatter down there, and they said, do not go near that dragon. But she did, and she smacked it on the head with the fly swatter, and she said, I'm yours now, and you are mine. And then they've been happy together ever since.
Yeah, it was a good time. I loved your grandmother, my aunt. She was really great. I mean, even though she was sometimes a total bitch to me, in the end, I learned some things from her, like, the power of pretending like you have a lozenge in your mouth at all times. It really disarms people. And judgy eyes. I love her judgy eyes. So anyway, take this box to someone. Thanks, bye.
She's like, and she was fierce. She didn't really like me, but she was nice to me in the end. So that was good. So I know you loved her with all of your heart. Well, let me make you feel better. I loved her for about 4% of her life. Okay, hugs. All right, leave now. Goodbye.
Take this to your grandsire.
Yeah. Also, I love that kind of the backstory in all these dragons is rebellion. You go and you just say, I don't care what the fucking rules are. You're my dragon. And then the dragon's like, I respect that, B. And then you become besties. Because everyone on the show, I feel like, is getting their dragons when they're not supposed to be, or they're stealing them somehow. And so I think that's the lesson here.
Yeah. Also, by the way, for Rhaena, I know she has a whole complex about the fact that she never got to have a dragon because Aemond stole her dragon. Here's my suggestion. Why don't you hop on the dragon when it's little instead of when it's fully grown? And then it'll be yours. Like why wait so long, right? Get the little one and you'll be set.
And then you get a dragon with fucking spine problems that can't fly because you were riding it too early.
Well, just go on a little, you don't have to go crazy. Just go on like a little, like down the driveway and back.
Yeah. Just like break it in slowly,
Yeah.
So, she is taking that for her grandsire, that package. So then we go to Harrenhal, blah, blah. Now Daemon's hallucinating a mysterious blonde woman. And he's giving her some on her vajayjay. And he's giving this big speech about, Aemond, you were always the strong one, the finest swordsman, the fearless dragon rider. Okay, listen, you don't look great as a bleached blonde, but we couldn't change the entire lore for you. Otherwise, you're just fantastic.
If only you were born first. My favorite son, you're fucking your mother in your dream. Ha! So, and then he's like, oh no, another terrible dream. And my hand's bloody again. So Sir Simon.
And then we're all supposed to be like shocked that he was fucking his mom. And I'm like, hi, it's House of the Dragon. So you guys are going to need to come up with something a little bit more like pearl clutchy than that.
Exactly. And then it turns out actually he's actually at a table. He's having this dream while he's at dinner, which is the most annoying part of it all. So Sir Simon Strong is like, is the duck not to your liking, your grace? Sir Simon, thank God for Sir Simon Strong. He just lights up every scene. Every scene, he's just great. He's the only one on this show who's actually like can play for laughs. And he brings a little bit of that, elder sass into it. Like that's the only upside to these endless Daemon hallucination scenes is that they always seem to end
what
with
are these scenes? Because they're not dreams because he's awake. So I think the witch is drugging him or something, and
the witch is drugging him. He's having masculinity issues. He's feeling like insecure about his place. Blah blah blah.
So he's got some bloody duck, and they're like, the duck is not to your liking, your grace. And they're like, would you rather goose? And then some guy's like, I love the goose. I'm like, could you wipe your mouth? Like, you can never be a waiter. You're not really selling the goose.
Daemon's like, oh, I'm not hungry. I'm like, well, you literally just already sliced your piece of duck, and it's on your fork, and now all of a sudden you're not hungry. So Simon's like, well, as I was saying, given the other dire news from Rook's Rest, it appears the winds have shifted and each side has suffered great loss. And we're unsure what is to follow. Also, the roof caved in on the kitchen, so if anyone wants to go patch that up, that'd be wonderful. Otherwise, we're going to be having rain soup for the next 2 months.
Yeah, basically, it's like, I'm glad you love your new house, so we can't afford to keep it up, so you're going to be paying for that, right? Okay, there's a lot of bat shit in the hallway. We need to get that done. The toilet hasn't flushed upstairs in a little while, and the wallpaper in the dining room is just disgusting. Not this dining room, the butler's dining room. Absolutely disgusting. Embarrassing to invite anybody over. RaeRae's going to be giving you a budget for that.
I just spoke to someone from the Riverlands. They say we need a beam. Actually, that this wall is not going to be strong enough to maintain the roof. So do we have anything to budget for a beam for the living room, perhaps?
He's like, yes, so budget. And he's like, what do you mean budget? He's like, your wife, the queen. He's like, how dare you? You need to call me the king. You are the king. Consort. Okay, so that's... And Daemon's like, don't you think that last bit seems a bit unnecessary? No, it does not. Sir, not earned. Okay?
Yeah, sir, not earned. Exactly.
Yeah.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
For 149 years, ADT has made the security of their customers a top priority, so you can have peace of mind that your home is protected. Now ADT professionally installs Google Nest products to help keep your home safe and smart. You'll be able to check in on your home and manage your security system from virtually anywhere. Plus, with Nest Cams and the Nest Doorbell, you can get intelligent alerts, so you'll always receive notifications on what matters most. When the most trusted name in home security adds the intelligence of Google, you've got a home with no worries. Go to ADT.com today or call 1-800-ADT-ASAP. Google Nest Cam and Nest Doorbell are trademarks of Google LLC. ADT. Brilliantly safe.
So now back to now at another dysfunctional small council. Now we have Meister Orwell. He's like, well, everyone, big news. The armor was Valyrian steel, but his grace suffers grievous burns over much of his body. But don't worry, we got the maple leaves. They were wet. They're on his chests. They do wonders. Just give it about 8 months or so. It'll look great. Don't worry.
By the way, that armor was so hot, and I was eating corn, and a little bit of corn dropped onto it, and it got so hot that it actually popped open like a little flower. I think I'm going to call it popping corn. It's like, Orville.
Great work, Orwell.
Orville. You might be onto something.
I was thinking about calling it, I don't know, Orwell Red Keep Bucker. Can we just shorten that a little bit? Red in Bucker? Yes, that sounds much better.
Well, we are grateful for your works, Grand Maester, but has he woken yet? That's Alicent. And he's like, no, he might not ever wake. He might not ever wake. I've plied my crafts to their fullest extents. He might be dead, but I'll tell you what lives. Movie night at my house, because, wow.
Well, Queen Alicent, I've done everything in my power. I've put a leaf in some water and put it on his chest, and, well, that's about all I can do. So,
I smacked him in the forehead with my shoe. Still nothing.
I sang a song. I told him about my friend. I gossiped a little bit. Told him about my friend Jean. She's a real bitch. Went to med school together. But yeah, the best that I could. He's probably going to die. Let's be honest. The leaves can only do so much.
Dead. He's dead.
Turns out the leaves have
Aegon
a
out,
0%
popcorn
success.
in. Yeah, Aegon out, popcorn in. All right. So Alicent's like, well, the king cannot rule in his sleep, so let's take a vote for who shall be queen. My name is Queen Alicent, so I shall be queen. Everybody raise their hand right now. I said so. I'm the queen. Do it. Why isn't anybody raising their hand?
Ma'am,
Raise your hand.
counter argument. Yes, you have experience, more experience than any of us, and you are learned and you are wise. Counter argument.
I've been
Boobs,
fighting for
boobs,
counters this
boobs.
entire time I've been living here, because when I
Boobs.
come home from the grocery store, there is nowhere to put down my groceries. So don't tell me you're coming up with the counter argument. I started the counter argument. I want counters in here immediately. That is my first stop as queen.
Might I remind the small council? Boobs. Thank you very much.
She's like, I was the queen when my husband had a hole on his face and his stomach and his arm and his foot. And I did pretty good then. So I think I can stand in while my son is a toastoni pizza roll. Okay?
With leaves, like a grape leaf wrapped toastoni roll, I'd like to add. Thank you, Master Orville. So she's like, okay, Laris, could you back me up here a little bit? If you want to see the foot, you better give me your backing. He's like, yes, no. A regency will assure the people of stability, and I think Aemond. I say Aemond. She's
Yeah.
like, what? But what? She's like, what are you talking about? And then she turns to basically everyone says Aemond, and she is fuming.
Yeah, even Laris, yeah, like you just said. Laris is like, oh no. So then, so I like that Laris was like, okay, no, and she's giving him the look like, you are never going to splooge between my toes again, sir. And then Laris punts it over to Kristen. He's like, well, surely it can't just be me who speaks on this, Kristen. Fuck boy, anything to say? Or you have any dicks in your mouth right now? Can you speak? And Kristen's like, he's right. Only Aemond can do it. He earned it.
Do you think Laris was being petty because he knows that the queen is sleeping with Kristen? Do you think Kristen's being petty because, well, just Kristen's Kristen? Or do you think that Laris is like, we know Aemond's going to fail, and like, let's let him fail upwards because then you will take over the power vacuum? What do you think?
I think that he knows that he's fucking the queen. But I don't know that he would look at Aemond as a failure. I mean, actually, if you look at it, Aemond is doing a great fucking job on this show. I mean, Aemond gives no fucks. He's coming to kill whoever he has to kill. Then he jumps right up on that dragon that wasn't even supposed to be his. It's like the biggest dragon in the world, and he can just climb right up on it and be fine with it. And then anybody he fucks with is dead. And then they tell him, you can't win this war. And then the king tries to fuck with him, and he kills the fucking king. I mean... I think so far he's kind of winning this show, so I think that Larys would probably respect him because Larys is also a family killer to get what he wants. So, I mean, game sees game, you know?
Yeah, but you would think that he's so ambitious, you would think that he'd want the queen to be in power, and then that way he could be the hand. So I'm wondering what was going on here. But I think that ultimately you're right, like game meets game. Like at the end of the day, he's like, I'm a killer for what I want. Aemond's a killer, and we need a killer right now, not the queen.
I think Larys is probably one of those people who sees himself as the ultimate power. He's not thinking of the queen as the ultimate power. She's just a stepping stone. So he's going to find a way to get himself in there somehow, or get himself a kingdom or whatever.
Or he recognizes that she has no power, and like her power has been basically drained away, or you know, over the past few weeks she's been complaining that no one listens to her, and he realizes there's no point in me being an advisor to her because even if she's the queen, no one's going to listen to her. So this is the next best way forward.
Yeah, the kids no longer listen to her, so it's time to move on to someone who will, buddy. And also, his king has just died, so he kind of needs some kiss assiness of Aemond. So anyway, that guy, basically Aemond this is such a good part. So
yeah, I love this.
Aemond just looks at everybody and he's like, thank you. Sorry, mother. And he just grabs the ball, his talking ball, and he like prances up to Laura Dern walks with confidence up to the fucking head of the table, puts the talking ball in the talking hole. And he's like, so let's get down to business. PBS, we're not funding it. Let's face it. Out of great performances, 1 out of 10 is good. Do we need another opera? We don't. All right. Yeah. Get me some jukebox musicals. I'll consider it. Until then, no.
And he basically just takes over and he immediately has plans. And Alicent is just sitting there in her chair and she is enraged. This was actually, I thought, such a great little moment. Like, this was great acting. Like, you could feel her anger. They really conveyed that feeling. I think we've all been there where you're just sitting there and you're like, fuck this person who just said that thing to me. And, you know, like, she is livid. But they just continue on, and Aemond, you know, is like, okay, do this, do that, do this, do that. And by the way, cut down those rat catchers.
Yeah. He's like, get down the fucking rat catchers. So then we go to Hugh Hammer's home, and we get like, oh my God, the poor people. His daughter is purple, like literally purple.
She's still coughing in the bed.
Yeah,
Weeks later.
and they're like, oh my God, we need to get paid for these weapons. Your daughter is purple. And he doesn't have the heart to say it, but he's like, money doesn't solve purple children. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, she's purple. She's not long for this world. Like, we might as well just wait for the money, you know? And she's like, he's never sending you the money. The king's a fucking liar. And she wants to go stay at his mom's house. She wants to go stay at her mom's house. And he's like, no, I want to wait for my check. She's like, your check isn't coming, ponytail. Okay, let's go.
It's basically the Kyle and Amanda storyline from the latest season of Summer House. She wants to go out to the suburbs. He wants to stay in the city. He's like, but my whole life is here in the city. She's like, no, but the suburbs, it's like, I want to have a backyard. I want our daughter to stop coughing. I want to walk barefoot on the grass. He's like,
I want to mix Celine Dion songs in with Beyonce songs. I'm a DJ now.
But little do they know, one thing that we didn't mention is that, you know, the small folk are unhappy, and the council knows this, and so people are fleeing. There's some real drain happening in the city. So at that small council, basically they say, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna close the gates, and now no one can leave the city. They are forced to stay here. That's a great way to make people support us. They'll love us now. We're gonna trap them.
Yes. So now Alicent goes down to the courtyard because Alicent just loves doing shit in public with Kristen. I don't know what her deal is, but she loves being completely obvious in public. So she corners him. Well, not corners, like she courtyards him in the middle of the courtyard where everybody is. And she's like, oh, well, seeing faithfully to the Prince Regent's commands, I guess. And he's like, listen, Aemond is the next in line. It's the order of things. Now, please, if you'll excuse me, I'm traumatized and I've still got a Caesar cut. I'm trying to enjoy all the stares I'm getting, but also not to cry. You wouldn't know what that's like.
You know what Aemond is, what he has somehow become. Has your loyalty faded, or does it flourish only at night and flee the sunrise like a moth? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Bang me at night, ignore me during the day. How dare you?
He's like, everyone's armor melted because dragons are fucking rough, okay? And we gave the war to the dragons, and whoever's going to win this war is going to probably have a dragon. You do not have a dragon, okay? So what more do you want from me? She's like, we are lovers. And he's like, I don't care. He's like, trust me, I saved you. The next part of this war is disgusting. It's horrible, the things that we have to do. Is that really what you want to do? And she's like, I didn't ask for you to spare my feelings. And by the way, stop calling me Alicent. I never said you could call me Alicent. He's like, sorry, Alicent. Hey.
Really, no one listens to me anymore. You know, I did say before, like, oh, this guy, why is he so traumatized? He's already been through so much battle, but all of a sudden this is the one. But actually, the truth is he hasn't. This was his first battle, I think. This was his first significant battle because they've been in peace. So, yeah, he's realized that
And he saw that guy disintegrate right in front of him. I know.
Well,
even bad people get traumatized.
I know. I just hate him so much. I don't even want to allow him to be traumatized. But the truth is that he didn't really realize what he had unleashed by tricking a dragon, like doing his whole trickery thing, trapping a dragon, causing dragon fighting. He has basically set off the A-bomb. The Cold War is upon us, but not so cold. Anyway, the small folk, they all want to leave. All of a sudden, everyone wants to leave all at once, out of nowhere. So I don't know, did like word get around, whatever? Did people like, let's go? As everyone at 9 a.m., we're all going to leave the city. So everyone rushes to the gates, and the gates are closed on all of them. And you know, now they're trapped in there, and the small folk are like, we want meat, you can't keep us here. No, boo, boo, we want to go outside, we want to go to the suburbs.
And then it's like Texas on a Mother's Day. You just see people standing around going, meat, 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 meat. And they're like, we don't have any meat. And they're like, oh, we're going to kill you. And then so like a little mini riot starts. And they're like, Aemond, first of his name, durned of his strength, and lord of his stature, demands that you go home. And they're like, wait a minute. Which Laura Dern was that? Was that Ramblin' Rose Laura Dern or Big Little Lies Laura Dern? I'm so confused. Which Laura Dern are we listening to?
Jurassic Park Laura Dern, the best Laura Dern there was. Now go home, everyone.
Wild at heart, Laura Dern says.
Twin Peaks Season 3, Laura Dern says, get back to your households.
I do not remember a part in Wild at Heart where Laura Dern clucks like a chicken. I don't know where that came from. Just anybody out there who's wondering where that came from, I literally don't know.
I think so
the small folk are not happy. They just start overturning Ross Dress for Lesses in the middle of the street.
And it turns out that Hugh Hammer and Kat, they're just trying to protect their daughter. And it's like, oh no. Like, just when you thought it was safe to leave with your coughing daughter, nope, bad day to do it. Bad day to do it.
Yeah. So then
the twins.
The twins.
Like, we're at the twins, sorry. There aren't twins. We're not seeing the twins died. This is the twins, not the twins. This is the twins, like the bridge with you have to get through it. The phrase.
It's the phrase.
It's the phrase. The family with the phrase. So Jace is meeting with the phrase. They're on the bridge, and he's trying to, like, you know, broker a deal with them, you know, because it's gonna be a big strategic important thing, you know, because the army, the Stark's army is coming through, yada yada yada, and of course the phrase. They are sneaky folk, and they want something out of it. By the way, I love the matriarch of the phrase. Is this Sabbatha? She's great. She reminds me of like a young, what's her name? Dowager Countess from Downton Abbey. What was her name again?
I think you just said, I don't know, like her real name, her character name.
Her real name.
Thought it was her grandmother.
Whatever her real name is, that's what she reminds me of. I love this lady.
So this scene, basically, he's like, hi, I'm Jace. And they're like, oh, God, a child. And he's like, you better give us help. And they're like, no. He's like, please. And they're like, no. He's like, come on, but I'm hot. She's like, I don't care. He's like, but I'll give you a dragon. She's like, no, you won't. He's like, yeah, I will. She's like, no, you won't. But your dragons have to fight. He's like, so they can fight for you and for us. And she's like, no, they can't be everywhere at one time, stupid. We need something better. He's like, well, what do you want? She's like, Harrenhal. What else? Listen, I want Harrenhal. I love a fixer-upper. Get me Harrenhal. He's like, damn it. Okay, you can have Harrenhal. They're like, but you can't promise Harrenhal. He's like, yeah, I can, because I'm hot and I fail upwards. You can have whatever you want. Harrenhal it is. Okay, I win. Yay!
Oh, but your people all have to bend the knees to my mom. Like, well, I think it's worth it. So that's the equivalent of like waiving the contingencies on a new house. Like, yeah, well, it's a competitive market. We'll take Harrenhal for that.
Listen, it's like us on a Saturday night. You got to bend your knee to somebody.
Yeah.
May as well just keep it easy.
So speaking of which, we're over in Harrenhal. Daemon is chopping wood because he's sort of like pretending like he's one of the people. And Alice Rivers, of course, just staring at him in her witchy way. And of
course, Daemon's one of those guys. I feel like in modern times, Daemon would be posting that on Instagram. Like, look at me, I'm a man. I chop some wood.
He's really trying to prove his masculinity these days. But of course, Alice is like, oh, you were born to wield a sword, but not so much an axe, perhaps. And he's like, there are others who would sit idle and wait for their claims. But I'm doing shit. I'm putting in the work. She's like, you're stupid. Does spitting firewood justify what's followed you here, huh? And he's like, fuck you. He's like, let it not be said that Daemon Targaryen failed to dirty his hands in the war.
And he's like, so what have you heard about me? She goes, not literal things, but I've heard it on the wind. Babies screaming, ripped from their mothers. Ladies sobbing in the road. He's like, wait a minute, did you just get video footage from the Ross Dress for Less down the road? Because they really left that place a mess. I mean, they really, really did, these small folk.
Shorts, dresses, minis, maxis, all on the floors. It's in the wind.
Even the artwork.
So, he's talking about how he's like, he's like, well, I'm not a good guy. The Brackens had their chance. They had their chance to join and they didn't. So you know what? I had to kill some of their kids.
I murdered them brutally. I murdered literally all of them and their children and their wives. Did it? I mean, that's what you do, right? I mean, this guy, how many times are you going to do the wrong thing and just keep doing it? He's just like, I'm just going to go murder everybody and surely they'll listen. How many times is this not going to work for you, sir?
How many times are you going to go attack children and realize that that's not the way to endear people's hearts? This is the second time. I think what I gather from this is that they went in and they like abducted the children, or did they abduct the children? Or they killed the children. They did something to the children and the women. And the Bracken men
sent that guy to convince them, to sway them, and then he just went. They're like, okay, let's just kill all the babies.
I was like, what
sounds great, guys. Great plan.
What
great
happened
plan.
to the secret blowjobs?
It's one of the things that makes me crazy about this show. No one's particularly good at it, and I really like that. RaeRae explained it today. Like, no one's been at war, so they literally don't even know how to go to war anymore. They're all kind of like little kids flailing around trying to figure it out, and I think that contextualized it in my head, because I'm like, how is nobody good at this? Like, they literally just keep making the most dunderheaded decisions. Yeah. I think the only person that we've seen do a decent job at this is Aemond so far.
I mean, he's definitely seeing through his vision. So, Daemon's basically telling Alice, look, you know what? The people are not going to support my wife. Okay. They want a man for strength. Okay, the High Towers, they're scheming. They want, what do they want? The High Towers, or they want Viserys' true heir, which, by the way, is me. Okay, and when I take King's Landing, RaeRae it's totally cool if she wants to like sit by me and like she can like get me a coffee in the morning, but it's gonna be me. It's like I'm the one.
And she's like, "Oh, it's a pity, don't you think, that you never knew your mother?" Which is obviously like, hi, I'm the witch who's been in your head. Are you still not going to listen to me? And he just like gives her like kind of a bored look. Like, I'm so bored with your brain interfering. Like, literally come up with something else.
So then Simon walks in. He's like, oh, a message, Your Grace. Fresh news from Stonehenge. Not to be confused with Stonehenge. I don't know why we have something so close. Might as well. Oh, wait, excuse me. I've got another piece of news here from the Liefeld Tower. Oh, and excuse me, the Fland Canyon. Why are we naming these things like this? Come on now.
Now the Blackwoods have overwhelmed the Brackens, and Lord Amos has pledged his banner to you as long as he gets season-long passes to Disneyland. Right. So
I don't know who named things around here, but they seem to be lacking in some creativity, I would say.
House Bracken is yours. And Damon's like, okay, well then get Sir Willem here so that I might congratulate him. Also, I haven't heard much about blowjobs, so let's not congratulate him too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the Blackwoods will be feated in these holes. Oh, sorry. Did I give Laris a long-distance boner there? Sorry, Lair. Sorry.
So now we're back at Dragonstone, and Vale goes up to Corlys. He's like, what? He's like looking at High Tide from afar, and he's like, my castle is a tomb. It's empty. It's haunted. She's like, yeah, God, I really wish I'd seen it when it was awesome. You know, back when you guys had parties, people would come by. I heard High Tide was the best.
Yeah, tell me about your glory days, Dad. That sounds great. And he's like, I'm so sad because my wife is dead. And she's like, yeah, got it. So listen, do you want to be the hand? And he's like, not really. What is she trying to use me after getting my wife killed? How dare she try to compliment me and make me feel like a man just because I just lost my wife? Fuck RaeRae. And she's like, it's actually a pretty good deal. And you literally just like go sailing around in the sea all day and you smell. Please just take a desk job. Please, finally. Please just take a damn desk job, okay? You need to know what it's like at happy hour at Chili's. You've never been able to do that.
He's like, okay, well, do you want to be my heir? She's like, I like, as cool as it sounds, I don't think I really want to take over a place called High Tide. I mean, is that like just some cheap casino in the middle of like Idaho? No thanks, Dad. Grandpa, I should say. I'm Salton Sea. I mean, I'm
well, he wants to give her that because she's, he does this thing like, I can't live without my wife. And she's like, okay, hi. We're on a show called Game of Thrones. Literally all of us are going to die within 5 minutes. So we only have so much time to go over Rhaenys' death. Okay, are you done? Can we wrap this up? Okay, just take this little box and let's finish. She's like, oh my God, I love your brevity. You want to be my heir? She's like, no, wrong plot again. Just keep following this hand thing until you're dead too. Okay,
yeah.
Just move it along.
If only you had another child that people didn't know about who maybe works in, I don't know, the shipyard. Maybe they can take over High Tide. So now we go back to now we're back in the council room in Dragonstone. And Sir Alfred is there, and RaeRae is talking to him, and she's like, by the way, you know what? I was thinking about it. You're right. Yeah. Our best hope is to have an army with Daemon. And, I probably made a mistake in, wanting to prove myself. And, so do you feel pretty comfortable? Do you feel like I've supplicated myself to you? Because guess what? You're going to Harrenhal. You are going to Harrenhal. Congratulations. Good luck with that. You're probably going to die. I was like,
wait a minute. You're just trying to get rid of me because I disagreed with you in the meeting? And she's like, no. Just go. Just go now. You're going to love it.
No, I think you're the best, and I'm sure you totally won't die at Harrenhal. I hear it's a great place. Doesn't have a roof. They serve duck all day long, which is nice at first, but it gets really old, and you're going to get rained on, and there's a witch. So you're going to love it. Have fun.
But she's basically like, okay, I need you to kind of spy and see what Daemon is thinking, and if he's betraying me, because I don't, that's important to know. So go see if he's trying to get himself an army or me an army. And he goes, well, do you have any message for him? And she's like, tell him I would like to finish our last conversation.
He's like, okay, fine. So now we go back to Harrenhal, and now Daemon has been summoned. Oh, God, wait, no. It's Daemon's in bed. There's light under his door. There's a heavy knock. It's like, here we go again. The old heavy knock at the door thing that's been going on with him. But this time it's an actual knock. So he's summoned into like the dining room, and there are all these like people from the Riverlands who are really not happy. It turns out people are they don't love the vibe of abducting and killing children.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, your guys pursued the women and the children and looted and burned. What the fuck? And he's like, it was fun, isn't it? She's like, no. And we're not going to fucking bend the knee to an asshole tyrant, so go fuck yourself. How do you like that? And he's like, literally no one is scared of me. I cannot believe mass murdering children didn't work again.
He also, by the way, he opens the scene daring to complain about their etiquette, that they woke him up so late at night. Like, All right, I think we need a lesson in etiquette around here. They're like, you have stolen babies.
The child murdering complaint department opens at 8 a.m.
So they really don't like him. And this one lady, she is really mad. She's like, know this, interloper. The Riverlands are an ancient place, watched closely by the eyes of old gods and new, and dragon or no, Ross dressed for less or not, floors that are clean or messy, we shall not raise our banners for a tyrant.
So they leave, and he's like, oh, God. Ah. So this guy kind of sucks at it. Last season, they made him so good.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, this guy maybe should be the heir because he's like, he can go into that battle and then fight all those people all by himself and still survive. Like, they kind of made him a badass. And this year, he's a dick. And he's like, frankly, an untalented dick. It's like he's not even fun.
I guarantee the actor hates this because this is so. He just is walking around a castle all season. So now we go over. So he puts his hand up on the fireplace and is like, lost in thought. And then we cut to RaeRae and her hand's on the fireplace and she's lost in thought.
Yeah. And they're just doing her hair. And she's like, oh, I'm getting my hair done. Damn it. There's so much more I could be doing. So then we go to the spy. Linda. Linda. It's just Linda.
Who goes there?
The guard is like, who goes there? Oh, wait a minute. It's just Linda. Come on. It's just Linda.
Linda. Okay, put her through.
Linda.
Most people want to get out of here. She wants to go in. Classic Linda.
She's like, I'm here to do things for Miss Ari. He's like, I don't even care. Just go. Your excuses are bothering me. Just go.
I thought it'd be someone cooler. Just go in there. You're always so boring to talk to. So now Alinda's going through King's Landing and it's raining, and then she knocks on a door. They're like, someone's here. Is it bread? Is it food? It's Linda. Okay. What's going on, Linda?
So she goes the door knocking, and then we cut to Driftmark, and Corlys is on his throne, and he's looking at the King's hand pin, and then he's like, well, who am I to deny fashion? And he's like ready to party now. He's like, I did it. I'm going to do it.
By the way, I want to mention something. Chelsea, our note taker, she really picks up on things. So she points out that the lady who opens the door for Linda, she is Diana, and she's the servant girl that Aegon raped in season 1. And we also saw her in episode 3 of this season serving Ulf the White, who claimed to be Viserys and Daemon's half-brother and his friends. So we've learned a lot of things right there. And furthermore, answered our question, was that Hugh Hammer? It was Ulf the White, of course. So thank you. Then that's some insight for everyone.
Yeah, that's good. It is good education reading these notes. I'm like, wow. It's like an after the show thing. So then
pay attention to
we see Aemond staring at the throne, and he's just looking up at the throne like, it's mine now. It's all mine. But then there's Helena behind him, and she's like, was it worth the price?
Next time, go to Ross Dress for Less. Better savings.
And he's like, yeah. Almost killed someone I hated. Didn't hurt. I'm sorry. Am I supposed to feel bad? Stupid? Anything else?
And then we see Alicent, and she's checking in on Aegon, and he's like, ugh. So she leaves, and as she leaves, he goes, Mommy. Next time, say Mommy a little earlier, because if you had the energy in it, you should just a second earlier. It would have been better.
Yeah, really. And who's the mummy here? Anyway.
There we go.
So then we cut to Dragonstone, and Jace goes to Rhaenyra's quarters, and Rhaenyra's like, Vhagar's first rider. Oh, she's studying the book. And there's a picture of Visenya Targaryen holding the sword, Dark Sister. And she's like, Vhagar's first rider and the first wielder of Dark Sister.
And Jace is like, well, I hope you don't mean to use her as an example because she was stupid. And Rhaenyra is like, well, why shouldn't I? He's like, but it was a long time ago. It's like, all right, son, what's the mood at the twins? Ha, I knew you were there. So tell me everything. What's going on? Spill the tea.
And he's like, well, they want Harrenhal. All right. And she's like, oh, I'm so proud of you, Jace, giving away things that aren't yours. You're really learning how to fail upwards like a true man of the kingdom.
That was sarcasm. Have you learned about sarcasm yet? Did they teach you that at the twins? And he's like, well, why are you so angry? She's like, well, because you know what? You chafed at being prevented from action. Imagine my lot, okay? Imagine how hard it is for me, your mother, okay? I'm a dragon rider as well, and I'm stuck here getting my hair brushed by someone else. Stupid. I hate it.
So he's like, well, you're not allowed to go because you're the queen. And she's like, who else is going to go? We're kind of running out of dragon riders here. Okay, we've got a dragon. I can ride the dragon. We can only win this war with the dragon. So any other ideas? And he's like, I know. We should audition people to be dragon riders.
An open call? Yes, it'll be wonderful. Like, He's like, I've got an idea. You know, we're a pretty promiscuous lot, and we've probably spread our seed far outside what the history books know. So I bet there's some other Targaryens out there that could ride the dragons. I bet if we looked through all these scrolls in this room, we'd find someone.
Yeah. And she's like, oh my God, so we should do like a DNA dragon riding audition thing. It's like, yes, it's going to be amazing. So then we see scenes from next week where people are basically lining up to try to see if they could be the lucky one to ride a dragon.
So do we think it's going to be Hugh Hammer or Ulf the whatever Ulf is? Because, I mean, Ulf said he was related. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that
Ulf
would be
White.
the lead up, right? That it would be Ulf and that he's like really like not trustworthy at all. It's like a fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Ulf
like
the mouth, which doesn't really have a good ring to it, but
I feel like Ulf and Hugh are going to be contenders to be dragon riders. I'm trying to figure out what Hugh's role in all this is because he's now gotten a few scenes. But then Ulf had a really big scene. So I guess, that was actually where it ended. I was sort of surprised. I was like, oh, the cliffhanger is we're going to read. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't love the ending, and I literally went, I need more, because well, they didn't get more. But we will next week. And did you know there are only 8 episodes in the season?
I did know
read
that.
I'm very upset.
Yeah, we only have 3 episodes left. But you know what, though? We love a tight season. So, things are going to start culminating very soon. Excited to see how this all plays out. Excited to see what Mazzario's plan is. Excited to see so much. So thank you all for being here as usual. Don't forget to subscribe on Winter is Crappening. And catch us on Patreon if you want to watch the video of this. Patreon.com/WatchForCrappens. And we'll see you next week on Winter is Crappening and all week long on Watch for Crappens. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
If you like Watch What Crappens, you can listen ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Across America, BP supports more than 300,000 jobs to keep our energy flowing. Jobs like updating turbines at one of our Indiana wind farms and producing more oil and gas with fewer operational emissions in the Gulf of Mexico. It's and, not or. See what doing both means for energy nationwide at bp.com/investing in America.
My name is Georgia King, and I am thrilled to be the host of And Away We Go, a brand new travel podcast on Wondery Plus, where we'll be whisked away on immersive adventures all around the world. Where we go, what we do, what we eat, drink, and listen to will all be up to my very special guests. We've got Ben Schwartz taking us on a whirlwind trip around Disneyland. We'll eat a bowl of life-changing pasta with Jimmy O Yang in Tuscany, Italy. And how do you feel about a spot of sugaring off with Emily Hampshire in Montreal? And Away We Go will immerse you in some of the wonders of the world.
We're going to be seeing some yellows and vibrant oranges.
And the shoes clicking against the cobblestone.
If you're looking to get somebody in the mood, have them look at the Chicago skyline.
You can listen to And Away We Go exclusively with Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Georgia, do you know what joy sounds like?
I think I'm hearing it right now.